Hello, everyone, and welcome to Activate Your Abundance. I'm your host, Shefali Burns. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I'm really excited about my special guest today is Christy Whitman, and we're going to be talking about the 7 essential laws. Now, we all have heard about the law of attraction, right? And we all wonder, why is it not working for us? So Christy's going to be talking to us about that and the other 6 laws that you may not know about. So before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about Christy for those of you who don't know Christy. So Christy is a New York Times bestselling author of Taming Your Alpha Bitch, How to Be Fierce and Feminine and Get Everything You Want, CEO and founder of the Quantum Success Coaching Academy, a 12-month law of attraction coaching certification program, and creator of the Enlightened Kid Program. She has helped thousands of women and men around the world achieve their goals through her empowerment seminars, speeches, and coaching sessions and products. Christy's life-changing message reaches over 100,000 people a month, and she has been seen on the Today Show, the Morning Show, and the Marilyn Show here in Canada. She has been quoted in 17, Women's World, Women's Day, Teen Vogue, People Magazine, Hollywood Life, and Not Magazine. As a certified law of attraction coach, her work has been promoted by and featured with best-selling authors like Marianne Williamson, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Marcy Shimoff, Brian Tracy, Neil Donald Walsh, Abraham Hicks, and Louise Hay. So we are so excited to have Christy with us. So Christy, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Shefali, for having me. Hi, everybody.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you here, Christy. So before we get started really into the meat of the program, do you want to just tell us a little bit about your story and how you became so well known for the law of attraction and the 7 essential laws?
Absolutely. Well, you know, about 18 years ago, I did not know about these laws, and my life was just literally not where I wanted it to be. Every place that we kind of look at as far as an outer expression of what we consider success, so our bodies, our finances, our careers, our relationships, all those things, nothing was working for me. I was about 30 pounds overweight, so for me that's a lot because I'm very tiny. I'm not even 5'2". I was also about $60,000 in credit card debt, and I had quit my job just because I could not do it anymore. I had no passion, felt no purpose doing what I did, and so I quit my job. And I did that because I had moved from Chicago to California for the last kind of bad guy that I had dated. So I always had it was a beacon of light for the wrong kind of guy. So, and spiritually speaking, I just had no connection. I felt really, really lost. So I met a woman, and she started talking to me about how your thoughts create your reality, and that you were either repelling things, from us or drawing things to us, and by these universal laws. So I started to apply them, and it was amazing because within weeks I started to lose weight. I was actually recruited and got to work for a really good corporate company, and I moved from the Bay Area of California to Sacramento. So I was able to at this point I was living in a room in a house. I was renting a room from a very strange woman because I didn't know anybody. It was very expensive where I was living. So I was able to get my own apartment, and I attracted a wonderful man I was in an 8-year relationship with. So things really started to shift and move. And about 5 years in, with me applying what I was learning and really practicing it, that's when I became an author, because literally my book just came as a download to me. And so I did what I needed to do to take action and write the book and send it out to the world. And it was amazing because I got a publisher and started speaking on the topics and of what was in the book called Perfect Pictures. And people were asking me, well, do you coach? And I had no idea what they were talking about, coach, because I didn't know about life coaching at the time. And so I said, well, I don't know, but call me and I'll help you. It was a small group. So I was like, call me and I'll help you figure this out. And the people I was helping out were having huge transformational shifts. And so I thought, well, there's something really here with this coaching thing, because there's not a lot of people that know about these universal laws. And my life is literally like shifted. So at this point, I had created my size 4 body. I totally gotten out of debt, had a really wonderful relationship with a great guy. Spiritually, I felt so connected. I felt like, wow, I'm really now knowing what my purpose and passion is. And whenever I wanted to manifest something, it was like it was easily manifesting. So people started asking me, what do you do? And more and more people that were watching me in my corporate job, because at this point I was a pharmaceutical rep, they're like, what are you doing? You're always in the top sales. You always have, you're always getting the biggest bonuses and all the awards and all that kind of stuff. So people that I worked with in my sales team, they started asking me to coach them. So the more I started helping people do what I was doing, the more they were getting results. And just by word of mouth, I started getting more and more clients, helping them to achieve what they wanted to achieve. And the thing is that these are universal laws, and so they work for every single person all the time. And what happened is around this certain time, that's when The Secret came out. So it was great because The Secret came out and people were now starting to know about law of attraction, whereas before when they were wanting coaching, I would have to even educate them on what law of attraction even was. But what I was finding is that The Secret, you know, it's a movie, it's a book, right? It's not the end-all be-all to all the truth of the universe. And so many people were saying, oh, law of attraction doesn't work, when it always does work. And the thing that we have to remember is that it's just a learning point. It's kind of like going to kindergarten and then expecting yourself to be a master student. So, you know, the Secret opened up such a consciousness for so many people, and people thought that was the end-all be-all. And it's not. It was just a starting point, an opening point. And so I created the 7 Essential Laws, 7essentiallaws.com around that time because there was so much confusion, so much frustration about the law of attraction. And for me, it's always been not just about law of attraction, but the other 6 laws. And when you learn how to work with them all together, when you put them all together, that's when you can actually have deliberate, you know, manifestations happening, because there's more than just one law.
Yeah, and that is so important for people to know that there's more than just the one law, the law of attraction. There's 6 other laws that really, they all work together, right, to help us live our best lives.
Absolutely. I like to equate it like this, you know, like I'll give you 2 just different analogies. One is when you go into your kitchen, you want to make a cake. You know, think of the law of attraction as the sugar. You know, you're not going to have a cake. You're just going to still have sugar. You need the flour. You need the eggs. You need the vanilla. You need all the ingredients to actually make the cake. And similar to, like, if you were going to go play baseball and you had no idea, you never saw the game before, you didn't know what the rules are, and someone gave you one rule. They said, okay, you have to get up to bat and you have to try to hit the ball, and you have 3 chances to hit it when you swing. If you get 3 strikes, you're out. That's the rule. Okay, so you hit the ball and you run to third base. You're still going to be out. So it's imperative to know all the rules. You have all the ingredients, and once you do, then you're able to navigate better and manifest what you want.
I love that analogy of the cake, absolutely, because you're right. With just sugar, you're not going to get anywhere. Oh, I love that. So thank you for clarifying that, because I think a lot of people, they don't realize how important all of the laws are. They only think about the law of attraction. They don't realize that the other laws are just as important, you know, in our lives. So yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. So, wow. So okay, okay. I always have questions, and then I always go on my own little, you know, rampage. Like, okay, I want to ask this. I want to ask that.
You can ask me anything, Shefali.
Because, you know, I figure the people that are watching and listening live and or who will listen on the replay, we all have a connection. We're all connected to each other. They all know my story because, you know, I talk about myself all the time on the shows, so they know who I am and they know what some of the things that I'm going through, you know, are, right? So let's say that, you know, our whole lives, you know, my life is really good. I'm really happy. Things are going great, but there are some areas where it's just not. So why am I not attracting, you know, let's say, you know, like I'm a healer and a coach, right? But I'm not attracting the clients that I want, or as many clients as I want. Now, is it because, you know, it's not just about the law of attraction? There's other things, but I think in part of my mind, I'm saying I don't really have time. I'm so busy all the time. I don't really have time. Is that partly why I'm not being able to attract newer clients? Is because because in the back of my mind, I keep saying I don't really have time, and so that there's a dichotomy between what I want and what I'm feeling energetically wise, but by saying I'm tired and I don't have time, you know, where am I going to fit them in if I got them?
Well, yeah, there's a couple of things going on there. First of all, you can't attract abundance from a place of lack. And so when you're saying I'm tired, I don't have any time, you know, that kind of thing, you're coming from a place of lack. And so to even attract the clients, you can't attract from that place. Yeah. The other thing is you're giving mixed messages to the universe. And so imagine, and I don't want to simplify it to the point that I'm not calling the universe a waiter, but I want to give that just analogy again. It's kind of like you're at a restaurant and you're like, I'd like some water, but I don't want any water. I want some water, but don't bring me any water. I want don't give me the water. So the waiter's like, do you want the water or do you not want the water? So it's the same thing with the universe. The energy that you're giving out, the signal, the messages, because you have to remember, let's take a step back. Everything is energy. Literally, everything is energy. And it's people seem to get that as a concept, but when you really live into that, it's like everything literally is energy. And we are the energy emitters. We are the tower signal. And we give off this energy, these signals from the thoughts that we think. So I'm either tired, I don't have enough time, you know, or I have perfect vitality, I have enough energy for my own body. These are all thoughts, and each thought has a frequency or a vibration that goes out into the universe. So the thoughts we think, the beliefs that we have, the emotions that we feel, the things that we say, things that we do, the actions that we take, everything is coming from this energy tower that goes out into the universe. And so there's a vibration that goes out, and what happens because of the law of attraction and then matches by a principle of resonance, there's a resonance that happens, you're getting more of the same.
Yeah.
So I'm too tired, I don't have enough time for, you know, for clients. Okay.
Yeah.
No more clients, you know?
Oh, this is why I love talking to you, because like, you make it so clear and you show me exactly what it is that I'm doing. And I know that, you know, some of my listeners and people in my community, they're doing the same thing. So, yeah, we really have to watch what we say, and not just what we say, but how we feel, right? So,
yes.
It's not just about the words, but it's also about the feeling at the same time. So,
it's all vibration. It's all vibration. The universe doesn't say, okay, she's saying she doesn't want any clients. It's not listening to your words. It's actually listening to the vibration you're giving off. And there's a resonance, an energetic resonance that happens within the universe, and that's how law of attraction works. So it's all vibrational. So when you're in the place of, oh, I'm tired, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy, you're in a lower vibration. So what has to come back to you is a lower vibration. Having more clients represents having more abundance, more money, more success, more whatever, right? So it's a mixed, it's not, can't resonate.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can I change that? Besides just changing my words, because, you know, changing words is easy, but how do you change that vibration?
Well, first of all,
we talk about this on all the shows, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, first of all, you got to get really clear. Do you really want more clients? And if you do want more clients, you know, why do you want those more clients? Like, what does the more clients mean to you? What is that going to bring to you? Does it mean more money? Does it mean more success? Does it mean more notoriety? I mean, what does it mean for you? What is the reason that you want to have more clients? And then bottom line is, what is the feeling that you think having more clients is going to give you? For you, there might be a mixed message. Having clients might mean more money, but it also might mean now I got to work harder and now I'm more exhausted. So if it's that, then we got to get clear and clean up the vibration that you're sending on the meaning that you're giving having new clients. Because if you're like, yes, I want a new client, and it'll mean having more freedom, mean me having more money, more success, and I, you know, it's going to feel so like free to have more clients, or, you know, I'll feel more secure in having, you know, more clients because now I'll have more money. Well, that's a high vibration you're sending out to the universe. But if you're now going, yeah, but now I'm going to have less time to do the things I want to do, and I'm going to have to be working harder, and I don't want to be working harder, that's a mixed message, and it's like canceling each other out. So it's really important to get clear on what's the belief that you've got going on that says that having more clients is actually going to drain you, or, you know, make you work harder, or any of those kind of things. You might look at changing your business around and having more clients and having more impact that you can make that would allow you to make more money. So, for example, instead of you having one-on-one clients, maybe it's group clients. Something where, you know, you don't have to work as much and as hard, but you can still attract the clients that you want. Sometimes that's what it is that within ourselves, when we feel that there's a resistance for what we actually are putting out that we want, you know, the resistance in there is like, oh, I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna, you know, now I'm gonna have to work harder. Well, go in and listen to you. I mean, like, let's pretend that you actually, you know, are telling yourself the truth, that you feel that having more clients is going to make you tired. Where is that belief coming from? And is there something different that you need to do to set up for success in your business? Instead of, you know, having just one-on-one clients all the time, like I said, maybe it's a different strategy that you implement in your business. Maybe you need more information in order to create what you want to create. But clearly, the way things are going right now, more clients to you means more, I'm going to be more tired, I have to work harder. So, you know, we got to watch the meaning that we give to things, because that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, thank you. Love that. And it's like, it just hit me so squarely. It's like, oh yes, that is exactly what I do. And you know, we were talking right before we went live, and I was talking about, you know, I have an assistant who does something, but I want to get another one to do more stuff so that I will have time to do more fun stuff, you know, instead of doing all the back end stuff, and which is tiring. So, I mean, I think for me, you're right. You know, I think if I had more, you know, more assistance, more support in that way, then yes, I could definitely handle, you know, more clients, do more things that I really want to do. So I will definitely have to look at that and see, you know, get more information about who I can hire to do what, and then take some stuff off my plate so that I can have more clients, you know, because that would be fun for me.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so now we've talked a little bit about that there are several laws, more than one, and you know, so can you take us through each of the laws? I know we've done this before, but I always miss some of them. I remember a few, but I always miss some of them. So can you take us through all 7 of them so that we know, and because we want to use them all. And so I know it's not written down here anymore, but can you also, like, I think you already do this, but can you give us a quick example, too, of how we can use each of the laws in our lives to, you know, really do more of what we want to do, and achieve all the goals, and, you know, really live a more fulfilling life?
Absolutely. So I'm just going to list all of them, like you said, give a little bit of description and see how we can apply it. So the first law is the law of attraction, and for me, this is the easiest law to understand. It's like a mirror. If you think of law of attraction as like a mirror, or even like a reflection, or another way to think of it as like a boomerang. Everything is energy. All energy carries a vibration. That vibration goes out into the universe, and then it is matched by equal resonance or vibration by law of attraction. So if you're sending out high vibration, you're going to get things that represent a high vibration back to you. If you're sending out a low vibration, whether it's like fear or doubt or, you know, frustration or boredom, any of those kind of vibrations, those are also coming back to you. So that's law of attraction. For me, it's like that is as simple as it gets. What you are emitting out into the universe, you are receiving back. It's like a radio signal. You're sending something out to say, you're asking. When in your energy and vibration, you're asking, this is what I want. This is the vibration. This is the amount of money I want. This kind of relationships I want. It's all vibrational. That comes back to you via law of attraction. The second law is the law of deliberate creation. Now, this is where we, as the energy transmitter, we don't have to just, you know, by default, we don't have to just keep giving off the energy that we've always given off. So if we find ourselves in lack, for example, we are in debt, we have a bill that comes in, we're kind of like upset because we're freaking out, we're in fear, we don't know how we're going to pay this bill, that's giving off a signal, and that signal is in lack, right? So if you're giving off the signal in lack and you're clear that you don't want to continue to give off that signal and have the same thing come back to you all the time over and over and over again, then as a deliberate creator, we need to choose and change and shift the energy that we're giving off. So we choose different thoughts, like I was telling you before. It's like, okay, so what do you want? Why do you want it? And then how are you going to feel? And then that's where we need to get into that feeling place. Well, I want to feel abundant. I want to feel like, you know, at the end of the month, I've got more money that I even know what to do with. Wow, that would be so amazing. I could actually take this vacation. I could, you know, give my kids some toys, you know, whatever it is. It gets you in a different vibration. And as long as you're getting into that different vibration and you're holding that space and that becomes your new set point, everything needs to shift. And it can happen very, very quickly. So that's the law of deliberate creation, is that we deliberately get to choose our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our beliefs. We choose the energy we want to give out. So the third law is the law of allowing. Now, this law is the easiest way to understand this is that if we are constricted, meaning we're feeling fear, we're feeling any lower level vibration, that usually constricts us. We don't feel good. We don't feel expanded. Whenever we are in an allowing place, we feel expanded. We feel happy. We feel joy. We feel excitement. We feel passion. We feel open. And the way I like to always describe it is if someone's going to give you a gift, do you go like this and close your hand to receive it, or do you open it? We open our hand to receive. And so when you're allowing, allowing is really accepting. It's not mean approving. I don't approve of something, but if you can at least allow,
right?
So watching our judgments, watching our criticisms, not only of others but of ourselves. Ourselves first, of others, and then of course the universe. Even judging the should. Well, this should be happening quicker than I want it to. This client should be doing that. Whatever it is. Whenever we're shoulding, we're constricted. So law of allowing, when we're in a place of non-resistance, that's when we're in a place of allowing, and that's when we can receive. The fourth law is, for me, the most important law. I think this is the law that people need to study instead of trying to study law of attraction. Law of attraction is a mirror. Law of sufficiency and abundance. This is the law that brings all the laws together, and it's the most important. So the law of it's called the law of sufficiency and abundance, not just law of abundance. And why it's called the law of sufficiency and abundance is because you at least have to deliberately, and getting into an allowing space, they're all working together, you have to get into a place of where you are, who you are, is enough. The situation you're in, maybe the work situation you're in, it's good enough for now. Maybe it's not the end-all, be-all, big dream that you have, or even just the next step that you have, but it is what it is for now. And there's positive aspects about everything in our lives. There's negative aspects too if we look for them, right? Nothing's all perfect, right? So whatever we focus upon expands. That's law of attraction. When you're in a place of looking for what's good and right, you're in a place of at least starting to open up to the law of sufficiency and abundance, that field of abundance, because everything in our universe is abundant. And you can look at, I was just having lunch with my husband on a beautiful terrace in Montreal Sunday, and he said to me, God, look at that tree and all the leaves. And I said, you can't possibly even count all the leaves that are on that tree. And it's there's so much evidence of abundance in nature. And yet we as human beings been programmed, trained, we've been raised in this environment that says there's lack and limitation. You've got to fight for what your share is, and you got to prove yourself, because who you are is not enough. But if you get the next shiny new toy, then maybe people will like you, or they'll approve of you, or all that stuff. So we're trained in this not enoughness. We're trained in this lack mentality, and it's important to shift, because if going back to all vibration and everything, if you're in lack and you just even feel at a core level that you're not enough, you're giving off a low vibration. What has to happen is what's going to come back is more low vibration. And that can look in your life like not enough money, not enough, success in your career no matter what you do or try, not enough love in your relationships. I mean, it comes out in a lot of different ways. But the core really is the energy that we're giving off, first about ourselves, then about others, and then about the universe, and even about situations, circumstances. So sufficient, at least come from this is enough right now, I'm enough, and then open up to that field of abundance. So right there, you can see how all four of the laws fit together.
Yep.
The fifth law is the law of pure potentiality. And the law of pure potentiality is that everything in the universe is energy, and all of this energy is source. So we have either things manifested energy, like this computer, or the chair I'm sitting in, or the space between me and the computer. Doesn't matter, all of it's energy. And the energy that's not manifested into something, it wants to seek expression into something. And there's unlimited potential for what that energy can become. So for us, as deliberate creators, we can then choose what we want to create. And if we can even think of it and conceive of it in our minds, there is a possible way for it to manifest. So that's the law of pure potentiality. It's like a sister law, if you will, with law of sufficiency and abundance.
Oh,
So
I'm so enjoying this. This is like I keep nodding and nodding. It's like, yes, this is so resonating with me. It's like I'm just loving it. It's like I've heard this before because I've had you on the show before, but it's like somehow today it's like it's really clicking. And it's like I'm really getting it.
yes, yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
You can hear it over and over. I mean, what's funny is that I have been working with this for 18 years, right? And so it's like there's more and more intricacies and more things because the universe is a very complex thing. These laws, I'm giving you the top line, even understanding of these laws, and there's just so much depth and richness to them. They navigate. They are the rules in which our universe literally works. And so where we are consciously is what we can understand about these laws. So that says a lot about you, Shefali, that it's like each and every time you're opening up to a higher consciousness and opening up to more and more so that you're having even a deeper understanding about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yay, fun.
So we've got a couple more laws. So that was law 5. So the last, or law number 6, is the law of detachment. Now this is an important law and one that most people really, really miss the mark on. People think that, oh, okay, so just need to detach. Okay, so I don't care about anything. I don't care about if I get a boyfriend or a husband, or I don't care if I have kids, or I don't care if I ever lose weight. We're lying to ourselves. We are beings that love to create. We are beings that love, we desire. We have a desire that's birthed within us. We're born of a creator. We are from creation. We are creators. So birthing desires and wanting to manifest things is something that's near and dear to our hearts. So to say that a book that we've been working on for years, oh, well, I'm just going to detach if it gets published or not, it's a bunch of hooey. It's not realistic, and it's not real. So the law of detachment doesn't mean don't want and don't desire and don't be attached to the things that you value. Like for me, one of the best examples I can give is when I was single, I was very attached to having a person in my life. I wanted to have a long-term partner that I could then marry and create a life with and create a history with and all that. That was really important to me. And so having a person, I was very attached to that, and I was very attached to the qualities and characteristics that this person would possess because I'm at a higher consciousness. I know I don't want to just be with anybody. There's deal breakers. One of the things for me, based on past contrasts that I had in relationships, was I wanted this person to be conscious and being a growth-seeking being as well, and know about universal laws and be willing to learn about them and travel this journey with me. And that was really important. And takes care of himself. And so there was a long scroll of characteristics.
A long list, yeah.
Yeah. And I was very attached to those characteristics. Some were deal breakers, others were okay, but there was a list. I was very clear on the kind of person I wanted, and I felt Frederick come into my life. Now, here's where detachment comes in, where when I was going to meet him, I didn't know, but I was detached. I knew that the universe had a bird's eye view of my life, can understand things and orchestrate things better than I could, so there's a trust factor that's involved with detachment. I didn't know when, I didn't know where, I didn't know who, and I didn't know how. And all of those things, I just held to the feeling and the vision that he's there, and I could feel him, and I can connect with him. And I knew that he was gonna be in my life, and I knew that we would have this journey together. And now we have, and we have for the past almost 8 years. But the point is, it's anytime you're feeling anxiousness, like, ooh, is that him? Or why hasn't he come yet? Or where is he? You're now in lack. You're now in the place of, I don't have him, I'm lacking something. You cannot create abundance from a place of lack. So I'm going to go into the 7th law, and that'll make everything really come together and understand that even better. The law of polarity is the 7th law. And so polarity is really that each subject really has a whole spectrum of vibrations within that subject. So for example, if you are looking to find a mate, on one end of the spectrum, there is lack of mate, and on the other spectrum, there is abundance, meaning he's in your life, you have him, he is in your life. So you can think of money. One end, there's the lack of money, on the other end, there's abundance, and then there's a whole spectrum in between. Other think of it as temperature. Temperature is one thing, and at one extreme there's extreme hot, the other there's extreme cold, and there's a whole spectrum in between. Now, each one of those spectrums, whatever subject we're talking about, whatever the desire is, each of those spectrums also carries a vibration. So when I'm in that place of, where is he? Why hasn't he come yet? I'm in the spectrum. I'm all the way on the pole of lack.
Right.
And I cannot create what I want from that lack space. It defies law. As a matter of fact, when you're in lack, because we are in an abundant universe, you're going to get what the universe can give you, and that's abundance. So you're going to get an abundance of lack.
Right. Okay.
So that's the 7 essential laws.
That's a tough one. The law of polarity, I think, is a tough one. The law of detachment is a little bit tough. And I'm saying it's a tough one, meaning it's tough for me, because, and I'm just going to say I'm the proxy for everybody else, because like the law of detachment really comes down to trusting the universe, trusting the grand plan, trusting that everything will work out. And I do that a lot, but then as I said earlier, I'm a control freak, so sometimes, yeah, I trust it, but I want it to be this way. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. Like I told you before, I'm a reformed control freak, and so it is. The opposite of allowing is controlling. So when you're trying to make things happen and orchestrate everything, it's like you're not in that allowing open space. Controlling has a very constricted type of energy. And believe me, it's the way we feel safe and all that. But wanting to control our environment is because underneath it, we're not feeling safe. There's a fear there. And the fear, if you go even deeper, so you got this controlling behavior that happens. Like with all behaviors, we do something, and it stems from our thoughts and our emotions. So the thoughts and the emotions that we have is, I'm fear of something. It's not going to work out. I'm not going to get what I want. Whatever the fear is. And if you go even deeper with what the fear is, it's rooted in lack.
Yeah.
So whenever you find yourself controlling, know that I'm being in lack. How do I need to shift into an allowing, open, abundant space? Because that's actually when you get what you want.
Love it. Absolutely. It's like, wow. It's like so many light bulbs are going off in my head today. It's like so many light bulbs are going off in my head. Yeah, just loving it. Now, so let's talk about money.
Let's talk about it. It's such a fun subject.
It's such a fun subject. And let's talk about money. And, I'm doing really well. I'm good. I have money. I have money in the bank. I have money coming in. I have money in savings, and mutual funds and all that wonderful stuff. I have money. But then I worry, right? Because I'm worried about at the end of the year when I may have less money. So then it's like, oh, well, I should do this and I should do that because I don't have enough for later. Like, what am I going to do? So this money thing about lack, right? The lack of money, the fear, it hasn't even manifested yet, but I'm feeling fearful about the future, right? So can we talk about how we can attract money, not the lack of money, but the abundance of money, and how we can be, I think sometimes you call it how we can turn on our money magnet?
Yes. So first and foremost, got to go back to the beginning. Everything is energy. Money is energy. It's just green energy. Okay? And money, all it is, literally, is a medium of exchange. Okay?
Right. Yep.
But it's all the stuff we put on the money, all the meaning and all of the dysfunctions that we learn from our parents and our society and all that stuff. So we've made this thing called money almost like like a monster, this money thing, right? You have to look at money as what it is. It's literally like how do you want to reframe? How do you want to perceive money to be? So when you look at money now in your life, do you feel good about money, or does it bring up a feeling of worry? Do you have, do you feel like you have a good functional relationship with money, or is there some kind of dysfunction there? So you have to look at the very beginning. We all were planted in a garden, and that garden basically some had weeds, some had flowers, some had a lot of weeds, some had no flower, So we have to look at the garden we were planted in as it relates to money.
Yeah.
So think about your mom and your dad. Just in the environment that you were in,
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad talk openly and freely about money? And did they educate you about money? And did they communicate together really beautifully about money and all that kind of stuff? Was it open? Or was it this like big scary thing, like you asked to buy something, no, we can't afford that, and money doesn't grow on trees, and there was always this like hush hush kind of thing, don't talk about money? Or was it the reason there was so much chaos and dysfunction in your family because your parents were always fighting about money? You have to really look at that environment, because that's what we first got our construction of our own self, our programming of our own self. And then beyond that, it's like, what did your mom and dad say about people that had money and people that didn't have money?
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, it's like, more importantly, if you had a small child, I have 2 small children that are always, with me. If you had small children that were watching you as it relates to money, what would they say about you and your relationship with money?
Interesting.
Yeah. So
kind of scary.
I really want everybody to think of money as a living, breathing thing, because it is, in the sense, because it's energy, and all energy carries a vibration. So we have a relationship. So here you've got something, everything is energy, everything carries a vibration, and everything that's in this universe that has energy and carries a vibration has a relationship with other things that are energy and have a vibration. So whether you know it or not, you have a relationship with money. It could either be a completely just, unconscious, emotionally unavailable kind of relationship with money, or it could be totally dysfunctional and there's a lot of shame and guilt and all that stuff. We have to clean up our own energy, the lines of communication, the lines of energy that we give to this thing called money. So, for example, if someone was to give you $100, would you be like, oh, God, I just wish it was $200. It's never enough? Total lack.
Yeah.
Or are you like, wow, oh my gosh, I just got $100. What could I buy? I could buy a pair of shoes. I could do an exercise class. I could go do yoga. I could, like, there's all these things that you can do with it. You could, I can go invest it. I could donate it. You get excited about the possibilities. You're on that pole.
Yeah.
So we have to look at how we react, respond, because as we either repel money from us or we attract it to us. And if you are feeling negatively about money and you have that dysfunction going on within yourself, you're repelling it. If it feels good, you're attracting it. So that's how you turn on your money magnet, when you can actually start. And people, when people like say, oh, money is the root of all evil, or the love of money is the problem, and that sort of thing. It's actually not. When you actually can feel the appreciation and the love and the gratitude for money, and it's not about the money. It's what does the money mean? What are you making the money mean? What can money bring you? For me, money means freedom. Because I have freedom of choice. I could choose to go on a vacation if I want to. I could choose where I want to go on a vacation if I want to. I can choose to, give to charities and whatever charity I desire. I could choose to buy my child a toy if I feel like it. I can go into a store and buy a dress if I want to. I can go out for dinner with my husband and I don't have to worry about what restaurant it is or what the price tag is on the menu. So that choicefulness, that's freeing for everybody.
And I think people forget about that.
I'm sorry?
I think people forget about that money can actually brings you more choices. It can give you more choices, and you can do more with money than without money.
Yes.
Because I know there are so many people who are healers, for example, and they think it's not good for them to charge for their services because it's a spiritual thing. How can I charge for it? Well, stuff like that. I used to say that. So I was going to say blah blah blah, but I used to say that, right? But the truth is, the more money you have, the more you can help the world, the more you can create more consciousness on the planet, or expand consciousness on the planet, or heal other people, or bring programs together that you can start changing the world the way you want. And people, I think, forget the power of that choice, the power of that freedom.
It's huge. I mean, especially if you are a healer, for example, the work that I do in talking about universal laws, I mean, I train coaches. My company, the Quantum Success Coaching Academy, we certify coaches. And we've been doing that since 2008. Now, because I make money with that, I'm always giving money back into the company so that I can create a bigger launch, so more people, it gets more reach out there, so more people can be introduced to it. I mean, if I didn't have money, I wouldn't be able to make the impact that I've made within my teachings, within my business, within the whole entire dream team that I have. I have an amazing team that helps support everybody that goes through the coaching academy. There's amazing support. You know, even writing the book that I'm in the process of completing right now, I have a book coming out in February called The Art of Having It All. You know, by investing money in that book and investing money in the launch of that book, more people are going to know about it, and then they're going to be able to receive the information in that and have their lives completely change. I know that because it's a life changer. So for me, it's like I'm taking money and I'm investing it so that my work in the world, my message, the healing that my information can give someone has a bigger impact.
Right.
I mean, you know, I just want to share this too, like even from a charity perspective. You know, my son Maxim, when he was 2 months old, he was diagnosed with having a transposition of the great artery. So basically his main connectors were not working well, and he had to have surgery. And he's doing fantastic now. He's almost 4 years old. But the hospitals in Canada, we have such a great system here. The Montreal Children's Hospital and Saint Justine, they were amazing in taking care of him. They saved his life. So now for me, it's like, again, I have choice, and I can then give a lot to these different charities and to give to the hospitals, because I know I have such a heart connection. I used to give to like Toys for Tots, and that's great, and you know, and it gave kids, you know, feeling good. This is now for me at a deeper level, and it's like the choicefulness to be able to give, and because of money I make, I'm able to make a bigger impact.
Right.
Because of what I give.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you're right. We are lucky. We have some of the best hospitals in the world here in Canada, and the care is fantastic. It's magnificent. I love it. So, yeah, I hate going to the hospital because it always makes me feel sad, because there are so many people in there who are challenged, or you know, not feeling well, or you know, having to go through different things. But all in all, it's good.
let me give you a different perspective, because I used to think like that too when we had to go to the hospital with Maximum. Like, oh, I hate hospitals, always sick people. And it's like and a friend of mine said, you know what? A hospital isn't where they have sick people. A hospital is where people that are sick go to get well. So now, my perspective is these is a place where people are getting better. They're getting well. You know, they're getting healthy. It's just a different perspective.
It is a different perspective. Absolutely. Thank you. Now, one of the things you've talked about a little bit already during this program has been about, you know, our beliefs and clearing things and letting things go. So how, you know, as a law of attraction teacher, you know, you believe in clearing and going deeper into our stuff, right? Because sometimes stuff, you know, life shows up and it's not always positive and rosy and wonderful, you know, it's both, right, negative and positive. So when we're going through our stuff, you really believe in going deeper and really analyzing it and figuring out what it is and clearing it, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yes. It's important because we are not these like trophy, or, you know, like these trophies that we get, or a, you know, certificate that you put on the wall. We're growing, expanding beings. Our desires change. Our, you know, contrast shows up, and then we give birth to new desires. I mean, there's always something happening within us. And, you know, when we go to create an intention, what happens is we have to become the person that can then resonate and be able to receive that new intention. And so what happens is if we're here and we have this new intention to be here, there's some growth that has to happen in those places. And so there's some old stuff we have to release, and there's some stuff that can happen along the way. And, you know, like as an adult, you might have someone that betrays you, and you have to deal with that. You know, you have to work within your own self with those feelings. Or you have someone that disappoints you, or maybe you get disappointed with something, or a life situation happens. Maybe you lose a loved one, or you lose your job, or, you know, these are things that happen to the living, right? These are human experiences. And so with that, we have to process what's going on within us. We have to process the emotions, because our emotions are our guidance system. Our emotions literally are telling us. It's communication from us to us, what's going on. And so we're so used to cutting off from ourselves, numbing from ourselves, ignoring ourselves. And it's so important because that emotion, it's energy in motion. And that is a huge signal. The emotions that we have is one of the highest intensity of the energy signals that we give out. And so if we're giving off a signal of anger and we suppress it and we don't look at it, the universe is still hearing that lower level vibration.
Right. It's still there, for sure, yeah.
It's all there. So we might as well clear it. And how do you clear it? You feel it. You feel the intensity of it. Like I always like to say, just close your eyes, go within, and within any type of emotion, there is energy there. And if you go into that energy and feel the intensity of that energy, what happens is it starts to build, and then it starts to lessen. It starts to release. And Jill Bolton Taylor actually said that there's about 90 seconds to actually process an emotion. Now, it doesn't mean that it's, you know, like say you feel angry or betrayed about something, right? You go in, you process the emotion, it comes up, it takes 90 seconds to clear. You might feel that same betrayal or anger the next day. It doesn't mean like it's gone forever kind of thing. It could come up again. Why? Because our thoughts and our emotions start at the same time. So if your thoughts start thinking of that situation, you can start evoking the same kind of emotions. And so that's the time that you have to go back in, release it, you know, and then focus your thoughts on something else.
Right. Wonderful, yeah. And you know, on our other program that we have too, Awaken to Happiness Now, we talk a lot about, you know, beliefs and clearing old patterns and energies and lower vibrations. So this is something that, you know, is not just done once. You know, it's something you keep doing, because every time you have certain thoughts come up in your mind, there will most likely be feelings, emotions associated with it. And if those feelings and emotions are not positive, then yeah, you should work on them to release them so that you can get back to a more neutral state.
Yeah, more of a state of alignment. Because the truth of ourselves, our truth of our soul, our divine self, whatever you want to call that part of us, knows alignment. And that alignment, back to the universal laws, it feels good, it feels abundant, it feels allowing, you know, there's all possibilities for anything, there's a certain detachment, there's a certain openness, and it just feels good.
Absolutely. Now, you say that there are some myths about the universal laws that don't work and can leave us feeling frustrated, especially with the law of attraction. You know, everybody hears about that one for sure. But can you talk about some of the myths? Because I know, you know, we think, and unfortunately, sometimes what we do is we try something once and it doesn't work, and then we're like, oh, well, that doesn't work. You know, it's like that was a waste, or that was no good, or like what are they talking about? That doesn't work, right? But sometimes you do have to use these tools more than once to get it to work, and maybe even practice it in your daily life to start seeing the changes, right? So can you? I know I put a few questions in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to say this. It's not like a technique that you use. It literally, for me, I embody and I live my life from these universal laws. They are literally my laws that I adhere to. And I live my life and I navigate my life through that. It's not just like, oh, I'd like a parking spot, so now I'm going to try what I need to do to get law of attraction and give me a parking spot. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not something you turn on and off. It's something you live into. Right? And when you practice this enough and you become masterful enough at it, what's cool is that you start attracting things to you that you didn't know you need, and then all of a sudden it's like you realize that there's like an issue, problem, or a need, and then boom, there's someone. That happened to me. I have my Magnetic Mondays, which is my Quantum Success show that comes on Mondays, and I did a Skype interview with an expert, and the sound quality wasn't all that great, and when I listened to it, it sounded like it was okay, so we uploaded it, put it on the video. And then I got a sound engineer that was like, hey, you know, when your audio guy is doing your audios, you need to make sure he does this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, he's like, I've been a sound engineer for 35 years, blah, 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 blah. I didn't know there was a problem. And I'm like, well, do you do that? Could you do that virtually? And he's like, yeah. So boom, there was like a problem solution on top of itself. Didn't even know I needed it. And now I have someone that is willing to do that. So that's how quickly things can literally manifest when you're living in that space. I mean, before you even know that you need something, it's the answer's there. So to answer your question, yes, there are three major myths, and one of them we kind of talked about with law of detachment, so I'm not going to go over that too much, but that, just be detached, just act, basically. And detachment doesn't mean you don't care or that you don't desire. That's not what detachment means. The other one, which is a big one, is that people think, well, just be positive, just think positive.
Right.
And yes, thinking positive is much better than thinking negative, but it goes back to what we were talking about before. If you're feeling angry, or if something happens, instead of just like, okay, I'm just going to think positive here, I'm feeling all this anger, but it's all going to just be fine. It's like the universe isn't caring what you're saying. It doesn't care what your thoughts are, because it's focused on the most intense vibration you're giving out, and that's your emotions. So just thinking positive, like I love what Abraham Hicks says about this. It's kind of like you're driving in your car, and your gas gauge goes all the way to empty, and instead of pulling over to get gas, you put a happy face sticker on your gas gauge.
Yeah.
It's like you're still gonna run out of gas, and it's the same kind of thing. I love that analogy because it's so true. So just thinking positive, I'm feeling all this anger, but I'm just gonna be positive. It's all gonna work out. It doesn't work. Thinking positive is a natural response to how you think when you feel aligned. When you feel good, you naturally start to think positive. When you're projecting into a future that feels good and is exciting, and where you're, having what you want and experiencing what you want, and that all things are turning out, and, there's absolutely no worries, everything's good, you're naturally going to think positively in your now. So that's the third myth, is that, I know there's the Buddhist principles, and there's also, Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now. Yes, the now, right here, right now, is the most powerful moment. Right now. It's all. This is where the power exists, and that we should just be in the now, right? But our brains are not wired that way. Our brains are always doing a cycle between our past, our present, our future. Our past, our present, our future. Just in this interview, while we've been talking, I'm sure people are like, well, I wonder what I'm going to eat for lunch. Okay, well, what did I eat yesterday? It doesn't matter what the topic is. It's always going in and out and in and out. Now, to focus the mind, and meditation definitely helps us do that, to stay more in our present bodies in this moment. When your past has a lot of chaos and a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, that is going to project into your now, which is going to take you out of the now, and it's also going to project into your future, which is going to keep a projection of like, okay, bad here, probably going to have bad here. So I didn't have money then, I don't have money now, I'm fearful about the future because I'm not going to have money then, right? A little hard to stay in the present moment.
Right.
When all that's going on. So it's best to clean up your past, the stuff that shows up. Doesn't mean go digging. Doesn't mean like take a wound and just just take a knife and just open up stuff. Doesn't mean that. But it means when it absolutely comes to the surface, clean it out, because that's going to then help you get back into the moment. And whenever you work on stuff from the past, it's important to connect with a different type of future self, because there are thousands of future selves exist out there right now. And so cleaning up, doing any type of healing work, any modalities that we do, whether it's EFT tapping or, I teach a course called Light Body, whatever modalities we're doing those, shifting it, and then connecting with the future self, because you're shifting everything here. We need to shift the projection to the future self and the connection with that future self.
Right. Makes sense. Wow. Yeah, I love that. You're right. We can't just think positive. Oh, yeah. It's like, wow. You're giving me so many, so much good advice and guidance on some of the stuff that I need to do for myself even, So it's like, interesting.
Thank you.
I have some work to do.
We all do, Shefali. We all do. We're a work in progress all the time.
Absolutely. Okay, so the last major thing we're going to talk about is, and we touched on it briefly, is about the lack mindset and the abundance mindset, and why and how we can shift these, and shift from the lack to the abundant mindset. Because you're right, most of the time we are in the lack mindset. 99% of us, I think, are in the lack mindset most of the time. And we all say we want to be in the abundant mindset. We all say, oh, we know that there's an abundance of everything. And we know we can just, we can see it, we just can't reach it, So it's like, And you're right, it's not just about thinking positive, but it's about, you know, your feelings around it as well, and projecting those positive, good feelings about abundance into the future. Okay, I'll let you talk about it.
And yes, all of that. The reason why it's important to obviously learn about the abundance mentality versus the lack mentality, so that you're aware when you're in the lack mentality, so you can shift it. It's just as simple as that, because most people don't even know what the difference is, because that's their reality. That's how they live. You know, like for me, whenever there was a problem in my family, and this is such from a part of a lack mentality, it's like a problem comes up, you must analyze it, let's fight about it, let's talk about it, let's tell everybody we know about it, focus on the problem. Oh my God, the sky is falling, you know, it's the end of the world, it's like catastrophic thinking, right? And then that becomes the focus, and it feels horrible. Someone with an abundant mentality knows that, okay, this is just contrast. This is showing up. This is a situation. There's at least 9 options that we have to fix it, transform it, transmute it, you know, manifest something different. There's something else. There's other options. It's not this way or no other way. We can do something about this. And that was one of the biggest things for me, is moving from a problem focus to a solution focus. And that's huge. A lot of people don't know that that's what they're doing, because they don't know they're in lack when they're in that space versus abundance. Another one is going into any situation looking for what's wrong and bad. Oh, well, that's wrong. That needs to be fixed, you know, versus what's good and right, you know. I remember, I don't know why this story is coming to me, but I remember when I had bought my new house. Like, it was my first house I ever bought, and the house was just so cute. And the chandelier that they had, it didn't kind of go with the decor of the house. We had bought the house after, you know, as the second owner, and didn't quite go with like the cabinets and stuff like that. My mom walks in the house and she goes, "That chandelier doesn't work in this house." Whereas, you know, like his mom came in and was just like, "Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, it's so nice." And, you know, it's like, "Oh, it just works." You know, it's like, it's a totally different perspective. And of course, I had to hear about that chandelier for like 10 times that whole entire weekend, because that needs to be fixed. You know, that's the focus, right? So that's really coming from a perspective of lack, of what's wrong and bad needs to be fixed versus what's right and good, and appreciation and gratitude, right? So those are some nuances between lack and abundance.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, those are great reminders, because sometimes we do forget, you know, and we don't notice that we're in that moment in a lack mindset instead of abundance mindset. You know, it's a habit, right? It's something that we've had ingrained in our minds forever. You know, we've learned it from our parents, we've learned it from our society, from our friends, everyone else, right? So that's something that we can definitely shift and change, you know, by becoming aware, like you said.
Yes. Yeah. When you shift and change on the inside, that's when everything shifts and changes on the outside.
Wow, wonderful. This has been so much fun. Oh, wow. I've like I said, I've learned so much, and I feel like, you know, so many light bulbs went off, and you know, it was like this was something really important for us to talk about, you know, and sometimes you're right. We have to listen to it a couple of times before we get it, you know, and I know I'm going to be listening to this, watching this video again, because, you know, there's some wonderful, great wisdom and practical, you know, which I really like, you know, because I like things that I can do right away, you know, I can start changing right away and start shifting right away. So I like that. So I'm excited. So let's talk about the special offer. If you're on the webcast page, you can just click on Speaker Special Offer. If you're on the phone, you can go to awakentohappinessnow.com/Christy. What did I say? ActivateYourAbundance.com/Christy. What show am I on? Yeah. ActivateYourAbundance.com/Christy. I'm just going to open that up, because this talks all about the 7 laws, right? The 7 essential laws.
Yes.
Yeah, activateyourabundance.com/Christy. I mean, I'm sure if you went to Awaken to Happiness Now, you would find it too, but that was, you know, I was like, what? Not being present at the moment, right? That would mean not being totally present.
It happens. You are human.
Yeah, so Okay, so where are we? So yeah, so can you quickly talk about the special offer, Christy?
About the gift?
Yeah, it's the actual 7 essential laws with the book and the package
Oh yeah,
offer.
the divine manifesting system. Well, first and foremost, I would like to give everybody a gift, which if you go to ChristyWhitman.com, you can put in your name and your email, and you can get 7 of the videos. There's 7 different videos on the 7 different laws, so that you can get a better idea of each, go a little more deeper and hear the information over, and probably in a very different way with those 7 videos. The divine manifesting system, what I did, and this is years ago when the secret had come out, is I realized that not a lot of people can do one-on-one coaching. Not a lot of people can really go deeper with this information. A lot of people like to do it with themselves. So what I created was a downloadable product where you can get the book, which is the 7 essential laws, literally like all the information about each and every law. There's also an activity book that goes with it. So for every single day, you can it gives you a tool to really help you implement the 7 essential laws in your life on with a daily practice. And then with that, you also get a meditation called Magnetize Yourself, which helps you literally connect with your own energy and work with a process. This is phenomenal. I've used it thousands of times to magnetize money to yourself. So that's a free audio that you get. And then earlier in the conversation, I had mentioned my first book that got me to be on this amazing path, and that was Perfect Pictures. So you actually get a download of that book as well.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, so that again is at activateyourabundance.com/Christy. If you're watching, you can see the link right here, activateyourabundance.com/Christy. Wonderful. Thank you, Christy. This has been so much fun. Like I said, I have learned so much. This information is so relevant today, because so many people are lost and stuck and they don't know what to do, So I find these 7 laws, like you said, we didn't know that there were 7. We only thought there was the 1, but all of these 7 laws work together in conjunction, and they can really help us to improve our lives and finally live the life that we want and live in that state of abundance more and more all the time, and then life flows more freely and smoothly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful, thank you. Do you have any last words of wisdom for us? Because you've given us so much today.
Just that everybody is truly abundant. I mean, we literally are birthed into this amazing abundant universe. We are having a human experience, but we are all very abundant. We come from an abundant place. We are creators. We can create and design the life as we decide, how we define it, as we want it, and we can do that by tapping into the field of abundance.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Christy. This has been so much fun. Like I said, I'm going to be going back and listening to this again and watching this again because there was so much wisdom and guidance. And also, you can take advantage of the special offer at activateyourabundance.com/Christy. Take a look at it, and if it resonates with you, just see how you feel. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you, Christy. Have a great day. Ciao.
Bye.